It's been called a new form of sexual assault, online sextortion. What's driving this insidious and growing threat? Tonight we hear from the victims, young, vulnerable, and exposed. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
With the click of a mouse, the beauty queen's moment to shine turned into her darkest days.
I was halfway through my reign as Miss California when I found out that I had a stalker.
But this wasn't just any stalker. Cassidy Wolf, 2013's Miss Teen USA, says it was someone who had an arsenal of private, personal images of her.
I got an anonymous email from someone, and basically it was stating three things. If I didn't do what he said, he was going to release all the photos that he had of me.
Wolf was a victim of an online crime the Department of Justice says is a growing concern. It's called sextortion, threatening to release sexually explicit images of people in exchange for money or more sexual content. In Wolf's case, she says she was shocked to learn the pictures even existed.
Had no idea what he was talking about because I'd never taken photos before, so I had no clue.
It turns out a hacker had taken over the webcam on her computer and secretly recorded her for a year, watching her get ready for school in the morning and undressed at night.
He gave me three options. The first option was to send him better quality photos. The second option was to Snapchat him, and the third option was to Skype him for 5 minutes and do whatever he said. And if I didn't do any of that, then he would continuously blackmail me, which he did do consistently every single day. I would receive 30 emails a day of him just harassing me, asking for more.
Cassidy's online manipulation lasted for several months until finally her cyber-peeping Tom Jared James Abrahams turned himself into the FBI and was sentenced to 18 months in prison. And the biggest surprise for Wolf, it was someone she knew.
The whole entire time that I was receiving emails from this guy, I pictured some creepy guy living in a basement halfway across the world. But then I came to find out that it was someone that I went to high school with, that lived in my hometown.
But in many sextortion cases, the blackmailer is anonymous, as students at George Mason University discovered this week.
So to hear that there were not one but two more cases was really disturbing.
An email from university officials sounded the alarm that unknown suspects gained the trust of two students over the internet, enticing them to broadcast sexual acts over their webcams. Once they did, the suspects recorded those videos and later threatened to post them on the internet if they didn't pay $5,000.
This is calculated, cold-hearted, malicious sadism.
It's something the Department of Justice says is becoming all too common, calling it a significant and global threat, especially when it comes to children. In fact, the vast majority of sextortion victims are female and minors.
Why do the victims fall for this?
Victims are in their young teens. They're experimenting. Suddenly there's this person who's giving you all this wonderful validation, and that's the perfect storm for an offender to take advantage.
In one particularly heinous case, a 26-year-old man named Lucas Michael Chancellor terrorized more than 350 young girls on social media and chat sites.
None of us in Jacksonville, including task force officers and fellow agents who've been working these types of violations for years, we had never seen anything like this before. Chancellor
entered online chat rooms popular with girls, going by numerous online names like Captain Obvious, Tyler the Conqueror, and Hot Guy 160112, posing as a teenage boy interested in skateboarding. He asked his prey to video chat, then strip and perform a series of specific poses, all the while secretly recording them. One of Chancellor's targets, Ashley Reynolds, says she felt like his captor.
And as I'm doing this, he would be like, "No, this isn't right. This one's blurry," or "You didn't do this right. You weren't doing it right. You got to do it again." So, and that's where being a slave to him comes in, because I had to make sure I complied.
Chancellor amassed more than 80,000 images and videos that he used to threaten the girls, saying he would hurt them or their families if they didn't give him more. He meticulously labeled his files, marking them done when he was satisfied with his blackmailing.
Next to the victim's name, he'd have little notes to himself, like I remember one was, "We'll try again." Another was, he had a note, "On Facebook now."
Samantha Chonski was just 13 years old when she and a friend encountered Chancellor online.
He was in one of our chat rooms while me and my friend were chatting with people we thought were our age, asked us to flash our breasts, and for 2 seconds he was able to snap a picture.
Months later, he resurfaced, ready to manipulate her.
I couldn't believe that someone even had a picture of me, and I was afraid. I was super scared. And as a 13-year-old, you believe that someone's going to do those things that they said they're going to do to you.
Samantha says over the course of the next several hours, Chancellor directed her through his choreographed poses, asking her to perform graphic sex acts she'd never even heard of. Finally, Chancellor seemed satisfied and left Samantha alone. She says she immediately deleted her social media accounts and never told anyone about the encounter.
I was afraid every day that he would come back and taunt me.
Chancellor told the FBI he specifically sought out girls in their early teens.
One of the comments he made was because older girls wouldn't fall for his ploy.
Chancellor used multiple proxy servers that hid his identity, routing his communications through other countries. That's how some sextortionists get away with it, according to attorney Carrie Goldberg.
Local law enforcers don't know what to do. They don't know how to de-anonymize somebody who's acting out on the internet. They don't want to prosecute or worry about offenders who might be on the other side of the world, which happens with these types of internet crimes.
Chancellor was finally prosecuted in 2014 and sentenced to 105 years in federal prison. But the FBI says only about a third of his victims have been identified, and they're encouraging more to come forward. Samantha Chonski says she's glad to see him put away.
It was really overwhelming at first, but it felt really good to kind of confront the guy who caused me so much pain and suffering.
Chonski says even though she knows she's safe from Chancellor, the experience has left her changed forever.
I became suicidal. I've attempted suicide. And I live with anxiety now. I can't walk down the street and feel comfortable if I get looked at by a strange man.
How concerned are you about sextortion?
I think that there couldn't be anything more important for our country to be focusing on as a new crime that needs to be really, really, really concentrated upon.
What is sextortion?
The FBI posted this video on their website, counseling teens how to protect themselves.
Here are some things you can do to avoid becoming a victim.
Because they're not alone, Samantha says she wants other girls to know they shouldn't feel embarrassed if they fall for a sextortion scam.
The best thing that you can do is to reach out to somebody that you know cares about you and is close to you and that you can trust and seek help.
For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.